wanted to talk about seeing. And I have not much of a plan. I was in the shower and I had this, I don't know, desire to talk or need to talk. Wanting to sit here, at least. And I was going through my mind because I wanted to record something a few days ago and I didn't. So I was trying to find that back to see if I wanted to talk about that. And I don't remember what it was. Something that felt very important that day. And then I just kept going through my mind, looking for things. And then I realized I just want to be present. And sit here. And I imagined this exact moment, like me sitting down, like looking into you. And the word seeing came to mind. And then a whole lot of thoughts and images and situations kind of just like I don't know how to describe it. It's just like seeing them like pop up, come and go. So when I say I have no structure, I'm just sitting with all these different images. I'm also thinking like how it's relevant for therapy. How maybe talking about this can explain therapy. How it can address something that most people are missing. Thinking about how this is my understanding of seeing, which I'm sure has, like, I know I have limitations. I know what I know. I don't know what I don't know. I know there's stuff I don't know, but I don't know what it is. So it's a whole it's a big topic. I was also thinking like how, I mean, here I am. Who am I? Like I'm nobody, it feels like. It's hard to kind of like reconcile with the fact that I'm 37. I'm turning 38. Like I'm a woman. I'm not some child who can look to other adults, kind of. I am one of the adults. Like I know things. It sounds... Yeah, duh. I know things, but like it's still like I actually know some things that some people, many people don't know. And I have an education. I have a degree. Like I went to school to study this. I worked with people for 10 years. So yeah, I derailed from who am I to talk about anything. Because I was just imagining how saturated the market is. how many coaches are out there, at least on my feed, on Instagram and Facebook. There's like plenty. I feel like I'm drowning in a sea of other coaches or therapists or practitioners or healers, whatever. And they have like good branding, good marketing, and they have concise and to the point videos, and they're experts and they teach something and they tell you this is how you do it. And here I am already talking for 5 minutes about nothing in a way. I'm just warming up still. And I'm here to be present and just talk. And I was thinking, like, who has the time to slow down like that and sit with me for however long I want to talk? And then I was thinking, because I read a post on Instagram earlier this morning, and they were talking about how we're moving into like a time or an era where authenticity is what's going to sell. Like, the packaging doesn't mean that much. It's who you show people, like, this is who I am and this is who you can be in the room with. And I was thinking about myself, like how I watch. If I enjoy someone, I can watch them talk about whatever. Pasta, desserts, cycling, rock climbing, I don't know. Like, as long as I enjoy them. Foreign politics, would never believe I would say that. And then I was thinking, maybe some people, like, I can just be myself. Maybe some people enjoy me. Just my quirks, the things I laugh at. Like, my emotionality, the fact that I can go from laughing to crying and to be upset in the short span of like one video. That I share personal things. I mean, for me, I wouldn't say I don't enjoy unless it's personal, but the people that I pay attention to their content, they share about themselves. They are people who are transparent, honest, personal. They're talking about what they're going through. Like, I will not sign up for a fucking masterclass or follow someone who teaches me what I should do. I will listen to someone who is teaching about something and using themselves as an example, kind of. Am I done warming up? You may ask. Seeing. I was thinking one time, when I was still living in my university city, and I'm catching myself avoiding to say the name of the town because my dialect is like stark contrast from this language, my English. So when I was there, it was one of the last years, I think, and I was doing my not bi-weekly, I had cardio 2 times a week. So I was doing one of my cardio spinning workouts, and I had gone to the spinning room because you could go there if no one had a class. So I was living my best life. You know, I had the instructor bike, I had my own music, I was having a blast, working hard probably. And then this guy comes in and he is also doing a solo workout, and he's like, oh, can I come in? And I'm like, sure, I have like 10 minutes left, fine. So he sits down on a bike, kind of like a bit to my right, like a row back, and then he's warming up and chill biking. And I'm like cooling down, and then we end up talking a bit after I'm done. And he asks me what I'm doing, and I'm a counselor, and then he's like, oh, what do you do? And then I'm like, geez, here we go. How do I explain this? And then I'm trying to explain presence and seeing. And it's so hard to explain to someone who, if you don't know, like, it's an experience-based thing. So I'm like, I will just take a chance and I will look into him. And let's see if I can do that and then be like, did you feel that? Because that's what I'm talking about. And see if he felt that or not. So I told him, like, I'll try to show you. Okay. He's like, yeah. And I'm like, okay, look at me. And he looks at me. And I can feel, and it's so palpable to me. I look into his eyes. And I look into him. It's like I take myself into him. And I'm just there, you know, looking and feeling, like tuning in. No, I'm just standing there. And then I'm like, how was that? What comes up for you when I did that? And he's still for a minute. He's like, longing. I'm like, okay, so I touched probably something in you, like, you're probably not used to this, but it's something that you long for, you want this. He's like, I'm like, okay. and then the conversation ended and I leave. and I'm also thinking, I'm thinking about Teal Swan when I was at her completion process training, and it was like this feeling when I met her and she looks at me and I'm just like, my God, I am see-through in this moment. Like, it's a feeling I didn't feel before. It's like a feeling of I cannot hide. I can't. And then I was thinking, I think it's so interesting because when I work with clients, because we are so much hidden to ourselves, where so much of us is not in our awareness, it's not in our consciousness. So this happens all the time. Like, I'm standing in front of someone, I'm looking at them and I'm like, wow, they're sad. And they're like, no, I'm not sad. I'm fine. I'm like, no, the layer of sadness that's all over you. Like, it's in your eyes are grieving, and I can touch it. It's like an ocean. I'm in the ocean of sadness here. And they are not aware. So I know that that's possible for me to connect with someone, to talk to someone, and I see something in them. It's there, it exists, and they are not seeing it themselves. And then, I mean, in therapy, it's the process of when I see something of okay, this is what I'm seeing, grabbing onto that, and then trying to either bring that out in front of the client or make the client like turn around and like look at it so we can start working with that. And I wrote a post on Facebook not too long ago. Connecting is not the same as seeing. which I feel like I've spoken about that quite a bit. That, and I was having a new client yesterday, and he wanted to look at his fear of rejection, and like this insecurity that comes up when he's dating. So we talk, and then I'm like, he's in some kind of part, like one of his main personalities, probably because it feels like him, and that's tricky. Like, if you're working with someone who is into this work or have been in therapy for some time, it's easier. But like when you're starting, trying to get someone to become aware of what they are in, it's like, that's a interesting challenge. But it was also, he had a part somewhere in the background, so I was like, okay, I'll just work on becoming aware of that, and then we can turn the attention towards the part that he is living out later. And then we're slowly but surely like getting a grasp of that part, and then making it more tangible by eventually putting it outside, like in front of him. Okay, like, how does the part look? What does it feel like? What's the part's demeanor? What kind of energy are we talking about here? Okay, what if that which you've described, if that was standing in front of you, like, look at it, what do you feel? Now we're starting to interact with it, but we're still just kind of, there's so many nuances in this, because we're trying to see, we're sensing it. I don't know. Like, it's very different when I ask, oh, so if that part were to say something about you, what would it say? Like, we're getting accurate information, but it's still different than if I were to ask, okay, can you look into the eyes of that part? What happens? Can you look into its eyes? Is he looking back? And sometimes people might not be able to, like, I don't know how to, what do you mean look into its eyes? And I'm like, it's as if a person was standing in front of you and you look into its eyes, like, who's there? How are they feeling? How do they feel about you? It's like this game of picking up information by felt sense. And it's often that clients tell me they've done parts work, and what they have done is they have become aware of a part. So let's say that part that me and my client we were working with, and they have looked at it, and they have figured that the part's sad, probably because someone did something. The part feels kind of young, and it doesn't like being rejected, let's say. So that's accurate. Let's say it's accurate. And it's useful. You're getting information. But it's so different. Like, this is I think what I'm talking about is like dealing with the emotional inner world, the emotional reality of someone, which is what you need to do if you want to be seen, if you want to see someone. And this can go also with, if this was your child, if you have a child. it's different looking at your child and like, oh, my child's sad today, compared to coming down at the child's level, looking into your child's eyes and be like, you're really sad today, huh? Looks like you're really sad. And really acknowledge that and them. And it's so because that moment when I met Teal and I felt like, wow, I'm just completely naked. And I think, like, I don't know, because I'm just thinking back, but it's kind of like a feeling of, I don't know what she is seeing. I don't have full seeing of myself. I mean, again, no one has, but I had way less seeing back then compared to now. I mean, it was 10 years ago. At this point, thanks to therapy and the work I'm doing with myself, I can see quite a lot of what's going on inside me. It's like having eyes, like we all do, most of us. It's like having eyes, and instead of looking outwards, you turn your eyes inwards and you start to observe. Interesting though. I was in therapy on Thursday last week, and I'd been struggling. When I say struggling, I mean struggling for a week. More than a week, but like really having a hard time for a week. And I was just like, something's going on. I'm arguing with myself. I can kind of at least see this part and this part, and they are arguing, but something more is going on because I'm not able to do what I'm usually doing, like keep calm and interact with these parts. And it's so interesting, like when something is in the blind spot like that. And so I'm coming to my practitioner, and we're like, this is what I'm struggling with. I'm listing things, and I'm like, help me, help. And we end up, like, I end up going into one part. And this is also, someone remind me to come back here. This is also so interesting because you have, like, in the energetic realm, I don't know what else to call it, like there's so much you can do with your awareness. Like, and I understand that I know this little, like this, nothing. But just the fact that you can, like my client, he can observe this part. And if I were to ask him, can you pull your focus, can you pull your attention, can you pull your energy from yourself and put it into that part? And it's like, how the fuck do I do that? But then we somehow manage to do it. It's really weird. Some clients need more guidance than others, but still, we're able to get there. And then when you get your energy into that other part, you're in a different part, so the experience is different. It feels different. You think different things. You believe different things. You see different things. It's so wild. And the longer you sit with it and the more prompting questions you get, the more you can discover. It's just like you come in and then the room expands and it's like, whoa, I didn't know. And then when you get that experience, because it's felt, then it's so different. It's so different, like that. Like I had another client You guys, I have clients. I had another client, and we were like dealing with an inner child of hers that was overwhelmed. And she was looking at the child and she was kind of sad, because she's overwhelmed, she's having a hard time. And I'm like, can you put your focus into her so you can feel how she's feeling? Client who needs absolutely zero guidance, she's just sure. And she closes her eyes and she goes, and I can kind of like feel that her energy is like moving, and she starts crying. I just, okay, she's in the part, and she's like, I didn't know I felt like this. This is awful. This is awful. And I'm like, yeah, now you know what it's like. You're feeling it. You're really feeling it. Sit with it. And she's sitting with it, and like the awareness is just like sinking in. It's interesting we can do that. So interesting. Where did I say help me come back to this? I forgot. I will try to think. I swore to myself, remember this. I don't. My part. Good for me. My memory is winning. I think I was talking about my session and my my parts. I was going into one part and I was exploring that, and I kept saying while I was in the part, someone else, another part keeps like it wants something else. It's annoying. It's saying these things all the time, over and over. And I can't get like, okay, so cool. What about we explore that one? So I'm back to my center self, and then he's like, okay, move to the other side of the chair, get into the other part. So I'm coming into a part that in the aftermath of the session, like digesting, processing, thinking, reflecting, that part must have been quite active in my life for a long time. And it's so interesting because it's almost like you can be I don't know how to say this. It's because I've talked about this before. Some parts you feel them inside and they're like this. You can like, oh, it's a thing inside. Other parts are like a filter. It's like you've put like a filter through your whole body, so you have no way, because it's everywhere, so you have no idea it's there. How can you become aware then? It's really so hard. So it was one of those parts. And like I'll paint a picture. Young, like really young. Baby young, kind of. Like not 5, younger than 5, younger than like 1, around 1. And like I remember when I was watching my nephew while my sister was just in the shower, and my nephew woke up while she was in the shower, and he started crying, and I lift him up and I'm trying to comfort him, and he is crying. He's scared. I can feel it. He's scared of me. He doesn't know who I am. I'm not familiar. So it's impossible to soothe him. So I'm just holding him and like, I know you're scared. I know. Mom's coming soon. And then my sister is coming out of the shower. And it's like 1 second she's looking at him like, oh, you're scared. Calm. And that when he's just like reaching his arms out like, Mom, And that's like the only safe place, and he's like just grabbing his tiny arms around her, and it's just like clinging to her. It's like that comfort. I'm safe now. It's the only safe place in the world, actually, is here with mom. That part I was in had similar feeling. Like, pick me up, pick me up. Hold me, don't leave me, hold me, hold me. Like, let me belong, let me... I want to be safe. I want to be in your arms. And it's also interesting because when I was at the completion process training and we did the connection process, when they finally reach through to the essence of me, and Teal said, give her something to hold on to. It's a missing experience for her, like infancy need. She didn't have something to hold on to. She needs something. And I was given a scarf or something to like take in my hands, and I remember still the feeling. It was like strange. It's like, can I hold this? What am I doing with this? It's like unfamiliar. So I wonder, I don't know, I presume those are like, they are connected. And that part of me has been, I don't know if I would say at the forefront of my awareness, but she's definitely been present. When I connect with so many people, dating, friends, partners, like, and like the feeling in her is not so strong because it's been some days since the session, but it was really strong. I mean, she was super active in the days leading up to the session. But in the session also, when I kind of like turned, me and her, we faced each other, and I'm just like, wow, she needs someone to hold that will never let go. She needs someone whose whole commitment is her. And I picked her up, and she clung to me. And she's just crying because she's in pain, because why no one wants her? Why no one wants to belong to her? Why? It hurts that people don't want her. It hurts that people don't see her. It hurts that people leave without being considerate. And holding her, because all that energy, she's been kind of like reaching out towards other people, and there's like this energy going out, seeking, trying, like needy energy in a way, trying to hook on to. And when that energy turned back towards myself, and it got clung on me, it's like it closed a circle. So everything feels more like in. I have a line now in comparison to before. And everything feels different after that. And I've been, because it's very easy for me to rush towards changing my feelings, feeling better, resolve, you know. So I've really been sitting with forcing myself to ask, like, and it takes some time. Like, when I'm closing when I'm closing my mind, when I'm closing my eyes, and seeing her in my mind's eye, it takes some time before I really feel her. And then it's even more effort when I'm like, am I really seeing her? Am I really recognizing that this is a young version of me? This is me. I was that child. And it's hard to conceptualize of myself as, like, when I see my nephew, I was also that young. Like, he is a real person. He is seeing the world for the first time. He has real feelings. He has real needs and questions. And do you love me, mom? And am I safe, mom? And do you see me, mom? I had the same. You know, I'm really thinking about the difference between in human design, because I'm a projector, and the way they see it's different. It's different. It makes me wonder the experience I had with Teal, because she's not a projector, she's a reflector. So I wonder how it's explained that I felt so like I can't hide. But I worked with a business coach. She was a projector. My current practitioner, he is not. But the business coach I worked with, we were talking about something, marketing something, and she's like, wait. And I'm like, what? She's like, I'm feeling something. And I can recognize myself. And I'm just like, okay. And then she's doing the same as I'm doing. She's like, she's looking. I don't know how to explain it. It's like, let me try to get like a hold of that energy. And it's like just trying to find it. It's so surreal to explain. And then she's like starting to put words on it, same as I would do. She's like, it feels like a resentment, but maybe like a bit darker, and there's some red in it. And you're just, for a normal person, you're just saying words. But if you're into this work, it makes sense. Like, it paints a picture in the end. And I have never felt like, wow, she sees things, you know? And I know when I work with clients, because I see. So I wonder how much that plays in to when I'm like, I know how I can see other people, and I have the experience of seeing myself. So maybe it puts the bar quite high when it comes to, I really want to be seen. And I know what it feels like. I know what it's like. And it's not just it's not just that I want to be seen either. It's like I want to be seen, and I want you to know how to handle me when you see what you're seeing. And I think that's so, wow, we're going in a direction now. But I think that's so interesting, because people have, man, I was thinking about this so much when I was writing my thesis and had my depression and my messy relationships. How I was trying to find feet. I was not trying to find feet. I was trying to find ground beneath my feet. That's what I'm trying to say. And I was asking all these big questions. big, big questions. Like, can we have everything? Or do we have to settle for less? That's a big question. What's the meaning with life? Big question. And wow, I derailed myself way because I started I started thinking about the soldier guy at the gym in my student city, my university city, and how fucking attracted I was to him. How fucking gorgeous he looked. And how that never turned into something. Nothing. And I'm remembering how fucking pretty he is. Pretty is not the right word. Too beautiful. So attractive. Let me see if I can maybe I will come back to where I was. I will. Because I was trying to find ground beneath my feet. And I'm thinking that foundation, which is your worldview, I think. That's how you explain things. So when someone's saying to me, it's going to be okay, I'm like, how can you say that? And that's a genuine question. How can you say it's going to be okay? If they can't back up, it's going to be okay, with something that makes sense, I'm like, okay, well then it's not going to be okay. Clearly it's not. It's same when I'm talking to clients and they're in some part and they're speaking, expressing from a part. The parts have way less filter. So I might say, oh, but it's so let's say the part's struggling with something. Oh, but I don't know how to do this and it hurts and like fuck. And I'm like, okay, but like I think it's like this, actually. And I'm saying that with the intention of giving some relief. But then the part's like, how can you say that? If I can't back up what I'm saying with something that makes sense to the part's like, no, I don't like that. I don't want that. It's not, no. Okay, so then that's not fitting to your, I don't even know what it is. What the soul knows to be true, or what they have as a thing that makes sense. Like some people will say, I believe in oneness. I'm like, I can't feel like I'm one with everything, so I can't believe it either. That doesn't make sense to me. Oh, I am sidetracking left and right. I was talking about something. I'm self-conscious now. I'm having a self-conscious moment. You know, I'm thinking some people, I watch their content and their videos and I'm like, this person is so fucking charming, and if I could listen to them all day, I'm fascinated. Like, just let me see them. And I can't get enough. And I'm now sitting with the thought, man, I wish people, it's not people, certain people that I would like to see me the same way. I hope they're seeing this and feeling the same way. That's where I'm currently stuck. Man, opportunities lost. Why? I don't understand why we get to be presented to people that with a soldier guy. Why meet someone who I feel like that with, and then I cannot really taste it, experience it? Why? Also, the second time it happened with a guy I matched with on Tinder that was on vacation from the States with a friend for a few weeks. And they came by for dinner. And that moment, like, I locked eyes with him, I'm just like, wow, I'm home. He died. But it wouldn't have been. He chose someone else he matched with further north. So he chose her instead of me before he died. So I wouldn't have gotten him anyway. But why meet someone you have this feeling with and then it's nothing? Well, I'm back to thinking about, even though I'm not sure where I'm going with this, like how we explain things. It has so much to say. I was writing, yeah, because I was talking. It's all coming back to me now. I was talking about how I want someone to not just see me, but to know how to deal with what they're seeing. And for that to happen, you have to acknowledge that there is something called an inner reality. You have to know that we have a universe inside, or that we have at least something inside. And you have to know certain. I mean, let's say two people, and they both are like, okay, I acknowledge that there's an inner life. And one of them is like, and the inner life really matters. So seeing it, acknowledging it, that's super important. That will make a person feel good. And the other person is like, yeah, we have this inner life, and that's kind of just like static, and it's not important, and we should not listen to that. Maybe we can observe it but not give it any relevance because it's false information. I mean, these two will interact with the internal reality in two vastly different ways. The second one, I don't want anywhere near me, you know? I had an interaction with someone I know a few days ago, and he asked me how I was feeling, and I was like, I feel sad and this and this, and he's like, no, it's a sunny day, and don't ruin my day with this sad mood. And that's like, okay, I don't want to. Cool, that's your reaction, I don't want to talk more now. Compared to someone I love, and I tell him, I'm so angry right now, I'm so angry, I just want to and he's like, I love you when you're angry. Talk to me, baby, talk to me, tell me, why are you angry, who are you angry with? You want a knife? And I'm getting the knife emoji, and I'm just like, I'm received, thank God I can breathe. There is spaciousness within the cells in my body. Maybe I had a point with this, but it's lost. I think I'm back to where I started now. Like it's a peculiar situation when I'm standing in front of someone and I'm looking into their eyes, and I'm like, I see something in them that they don't yet see in themselves. Some will know then to look, but others, they are oblivious. They don't know how to look. They don't know that looking is a thing. As if I'm standing in front of someone and they are like looking at me and they're like, oh, it looks like there's sadness there. Then I would be like, I can't feel that, like at first glance I can't, but let me check. And then I turn my eyes inwards and I'm like, oh yeah, there's this sadness. Actually, I'm really sad. It's just so when I'm talking to someone and they're not in contact with, in touch with, like in connection with themselves, it's so, I can't really, it's not so substantial. I can't really, in comparison, if I'm standing in front of someone who they are in touch with themselves, or they can become in touch with themselves, like they are that kind of person, it's like endless vast space and richness. It's so much substance. It's like eating something nourishing and juicy, and like you just want more because it feels nice. The other version, the other person, that's just like it doesn't work, and I don't have anything to go on. It's now, why am I here then? If I can't fill myself with life, why am I here? I think people parrot what they've been told so often. Like, I asked on my Instagram story some time ago, like, I was talking about pussies, vaginas, and I was thinking like, how does your pussy feel? It was provoked by my practitioner asking. I don't even want to go into it, but it made me think. And he was saying like he thought women should lead from their pussy and men should lead from their heart. It's an interesting thought. So I was asking like the women how they feel their pussy, and I was asking men how they feel a woman's pussy, and how they would like it to feel, and what they think is necessary for a woman to have the kind of pussy that a man would like. And then people are like saying things that it's just you can tell that they're just saying words. It's the same, like if people can give statements all the time, and if I'm asking and then inquiring, they can't really explain to the depth, so it makes sense. It's just a sentence in thin air, which is why I will not say I believe in oneness, because do I really? Can I explain it then? No, I can't. I think we only get, like, we need to interact with things to gain experience. So probably then people who are more willing to feel and interact, they must maybe know more and be embodied more, maybe. Have the potential at least. Talk for an hour now. I'm done talking, I think. Let me check. Wish I could just give people I just want to stand in front of people and look into them and see them and help them see themselves. Because when you can see yourself, you're unbeatable. Everything changes. You become unstoppable. You can do anything. If you can see yourself and know how to interact with yourself, there's no limit. And your life will be so much better. If you have any thoughts, whatever they might be, you can share them. I would like to read them. I'm not promising a quick reply though, because I don't like I don't like being online like that. If you want to book a session, you know where to find me.